Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to hear from the so-called secret space program warriors is the biggest pile of shit let these people go on stage in Vegas, and I'm telling you, they will bring down the house. They will bring down the house. Without further ado, I'm just going to let you hear it. Or the bullshit it is.
That actually our solar system, the back of the moon and the moon itself, as well as inside the Earth, is very populated with other species of intelligent life. And they made treaties with some and settled out there. And after World War II, they lost the land, the world, the public face of the war they had lost, but factions of the German military group, or the German government, had moved to Antarctica and to the moon and to other places, bodies in the solar system, and settled and created a breakaway civilization, which is a civilization that operates independently of the rest of us here on the Earth. I guess shortly thereafter, I don't have all the numbers, but shortly thereafter, the United States and Russia got scientists that led them on a trail and created years later, a decade or two later, created their own secret space programs and went into space and made separate treaties with other extraterrestrials and with the Germans themselves. So they're pretty fragmented. It was my experience when I was traded from one compartment to another, that they kind of have a rivalry with each other, but they work together. They share resources. All of those colonies, and they've broken into individual colonies that are incorporated, that run as corporations under an umbrella corporation, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, the ICC. So what you've got is the Lunar Colony, a Mars Colony Corporation. I ended up at the Ceres Colony Corporation, and on and on and on. Each body in the solar system where they've settled, it becomes its own corporation.
I am a secret space program asset that was in the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate on the Mars basis. I did a 60 and back, which was a quantum leap time traveling program associated with the secret space program, the ICC factions that were on Mars. So basically it was time traveling 60 years. I am 33, but biologically I am in what would be like 60s. So that is basically the component of my secret space program aspects. And I've had also been abducted by various ETs, particularly the reptilians from the age of 2 to 10. So I've had experience dealing with many different extraterrestrial species as an ET contactee, as an ET abductee, and as an SSP asset as well. While I was in the secret space program, I worked with various different ETs and interacted with them. I did language translation, I did communications work. I also worked on the cybernetics labs that are attached to the Mars bases. So what I saw was human components being augmented and spliced with cybernetics together to create a cyborg being, to basically create a new being, a new life form. And those cyborgs were sold or given away as scouts or soldiers to various other ET races to trade for medication, various trade routes, planets and stuff where you could trade things. So that's very important to the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate because they exchange technology and medications with other ET species. They're all about technology and advancement. So that's what the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate does on Mars. They do all kinds of genetic experiments, etc., technology, and they work with other Earth-based corporations because they have associations with Earth-based corporations as well. So it's all combined in a disciplinary way, in how they work out in space and what their dealings is with Earth corporations that they're attached to. So it's a very intricate process of how that happens, and I got to see all of that stuff with doing communications, with doing the cybernetic stuff. I had Neuralink implants, so I understood various ET languages. I got to visit various different planets, particularly Mars, and also the ICC Mars space station platforms that they have. They have 4 of those stationed around Mars, and they're usually cloaked. So I got to see that and serve as an asset, and mainly on the Mars bases, 11 of them. So that is my introduction, my history of the SSB and the ET stuff.
And that's how they run everything, and it's a totalitarian, militarily governed settlements is what are going on right now in the solar system. They use the Earth, the banking system and everything has been under control. They use the Earth for resources. And there are other ETs that come here and use the Earth for genetic experiments, and they use it for just bulk resources. You'd be surprised. I mean, I ended up working, so I was taken in 81 and 82 in that period. And a lot of people don't know what a 20 and back service is. And this is another thing, and this is the hardest thing for people. When I tell people that don't know anything about it, this is the hardest thing for them to get their heads around, is the alien abduction phenomenon is many different things. Many people get abducted for different things. But the MyLab ones and a lot of these, the technology involved is the ability to take somebody and then use them for services of 20 years. Some people have the genetics to go 20 years and then come back and then do another 20 years. But then come right back to the time that they left. Now, when you can travel interstellar space, you can travel time as well. So what they are able to do is take somebody, and there are a few different theories as to how they accomplish it, but they can take somebody and then make them work for them or serve a 20-year service, 20 years in the space colonies. Then through different methods, either with a cloning technology or with a age regression technology, which there is literature on the internet. There is information to dig this up, but with age regression technology, age the person back to how they found them.
And now we have the lovely Laura Eisenhower.
Yeah, in 2006, I formed a partnership with somebody that I met at a festival, and we started dating each other. While I was living in Washington, D.C., he would go to secret meetings and come and visit me. And he started to tell me about what these meetings are all about. And it had to do with going to Mars in 2012, and that was the target date. And we were going to go in something called ARCS, A-R-C, and it was for my protection, and whoever else was going to go, to basically the whole idea of protecting the human genome in the event that there might be a catastrophe at some point. So, it seemed like a well-intentioned agenda, like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, but I still really don't want to go because I have a strong mission here on Earth. But as I started to really listen in and follow the emails and started to investigate the nature.
This is why you'll never think of D-Day the same again.
The people that he was working with, it became very clear to me that this agenda had been infiltrated and that it was more about New World Order and using weather modification and...
Okay, I'm ending it there. I've heard enough bullshit for one day. Okay, guys. Oh, wait a minute. This is companies. Exxon, Mobil, BP, Total.